Well, thanks everybody for joining this morning. By this point, you've seen the release that we put out an hour or so ago with respect to Ken Holland. I want to start by sort of reiterating some of the things that were said in that press release about Ken's time in Edmonton and what a fantastic job he did as a general manager over the 5 years. The amount of playoff series the team was able to win, kind of culminating this year with us going to the seventh game in the finals and losing by a goal. It's been a real pleasure working with Ken. He's a fantastic human being, as you all know. And I met with Ken yesterday. It was to formalize really a discussion that had been ongoing during the season. Not a surprise to Ken or to me that we've mutually decided that this was the best thing. I think he was ready to move on and we're going to go in a different direction. We had a great hour-long meeting, and as you guys know, Ken, lots of laughs and different things and sort of reminiscing on the season. So from that point of view, I just wanted to again thank Ken for everything that he's done, and it was both personally and professionally with me this year and our staff. But now we move on. We've got a lot of work to do. Our sort of season success this year put us in a spot where we don't have a lot of time to do things, and the league's been operating while we were playing. We have our own unrestricted free agents to sign. We've got the draft. We've got free agency. I have to find a new general manager. All of those things, I'm sure, are things that you guys have questions about. Rather than me drone on about that, why don't we take some questions? I'll try to answer them the best I can, and we can do that, and I can try to give you guys some clarity on what's happening.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. With that, we'll start with Derek.
Hey Jeff, I just wanted to know what the contingency plan was going forward. Did you guys have a kind of a plan going forward, or were you always going to wait to see the season play out and then address it?
No, like I alluded to, I mean, this was not a surprise. We knew that we were going to get handcuffed if we went far in the playoffs, because you can't be having discussions about other general managers and asking for permission from other teams while we're playing, because it's in our business, as you guys know, everything makes its way into the public realm. And Kenny and I talked a bunch of times this year about just making sure that we kept everything sort of like no distractions for the players, and I think that was we were totally aligned on that, and it served our players best to do it that way. So as far as a contingency plan, we knew if we had success, we were going to be pushed to the end here. Obviously, I've been formulating plans in my head, but and mapping things out with the hope that we would get really far, knowing that it would be difficult. So here we are, and I'm going to move forward over the next couple of weeks and get the things done that need to get done.
Follow up, DVD, or you good?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay. We'll go to Daniel Nugent-Bowman.
Hey, Jeff, how are the next few days going to work? Because obviously you alluded to this being a very, busy time and having to wait given the success the team had. But, obviously the draft is here, free agency, and a big decision here with Leon Draisaitl. How are the next few days going to work?
Yeah, I mean, we've started immediately, to talk to our own unrestricted free agents, guys that are going to be eligible July 1st, who played for us this year. So that process has already commenced. I'm working closely with our management group and our pro scouts, all of whom are excellent. Our analytics guys, our hockey ops. The one thing about this year is I was not a CEO of a team that wasn't involved. I was sort of integrated and embedded all year with Ken and the staff. So I have a very good understanding of skill sets and personalities and what people do well. And we have a very capable group. So we've started the UFA process. Rick Tracy, is going to run the draft. That's his role. That's the role of all chief amateur scouts for all the teams. And then as far as free agency goes, there's guys that we have targeted. We spent a lot of time simultaneous to us playing with our pro scouts. You guys, many of you know that we had our whole crew in town during the Dallas series, I think it was, and have gone over and prioritized. And we're gonna, when July 1st hits, we're gonna get on that. Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot to do, and we're sort of behind the 8 ball, but I'm confident that we're going to be able to accomplish what we need to in the short term. And then going forward with some discussions on contracts extensions and things like that.
So my follow-up, I guess, would be, Jeff, are you acting as the general manager for the time being? And do you have any interest to take on that role full time going forward?
I guess I would be the acting GM. I'm going to be the one that's overseeing everything, and like I said, in conjunction with our staff. I don't have any intention of being the general manager. I have a number of candidates that I have started to reach out to. It's a difficult time for everybody. We're at the draft. People that I want to talk to are like integral parts of other organizations. So I'm anticipating that I'm gonna have to be a bit patient with that and get through this next, few days. But I'm okay with that. I think that I want to do this the right way. I want to get the right person. I don't have a time frame for it. I obviously it's a priority, a big priority, and I don't want it to linger. And I don't know how long it'll take. It'll sort of be subject to my ability to talk to people when they're freed up.
Thank you.
We'll go to Jason Greger.
Now you can hear me. Sorry about that. You mentioned, Jeff, you'll be the kind of the de facto GM for the time being. When you look at how this team's constructed, and you've been working alongside Ken the last few years, you're still in win mode. How aggressive do you think you'll be when it comes to trades leading up to the draft and then even into free agency?
We're gonna look at any way we can to sort of improve the team, even if it's by a small amount. We're not going to be super aggressive and start making deals all over the place. We have obviously have a very good group. We made it where we made it. I've never seen a team that's gelled so well and then through the playoffs matured as a team sort of before our eyes. So I think to answer your question, like we'd like to bring back the team. We might like to tinker with it a little bit, make a change here or there. Being realistic, I don't know if we'll get everybody back or not. We got to try. We've got to work around cap issues and different things like that. So we're going to be active and looking at ways to free up money and have options for sure. Try to get it, make improvements wherever we can in the lineup. But I wouldn't say we're going to, just open the floodgates and try to do a bunch of big deals. That just doesn't make any sense with the team that we already have in place and the success we had this year and the group that we have.
Okay. And one follow-up, do you have an update on McDavid and if he requires surgery and what's kind of the status for him this summer?
I don't have an update on Connor. We went through the medicals yesterday, and I've got to sit down with TD, our therapist, and sort of review all of that. I don't think any of that's sort of finalized yet, and I wouldn't comment on Connor or any other player at this point. We'll have to just sort of see where that goes.
Mark Spector, go ahead.
Hey, Jax. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about, you want to bring the band back together here, keep the band together because it went so well. But a lot of the guys at UFAs are older. You got older guys, they're all in their 30s here. You got an older team, the oldest team, I think, as it stands. Tell me, maybe you could just give us a few words on bringing back something that clearly worked against bringing back a whole bunch of guys who are going to be 1 year older.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, everybody would love to have a young team and have everybody in, you know, their prime years, so to speak. I think that the guys that we would like to bring back, we're probably not talking about long-term deals. You know, they would be probably shorter types of deals. I think that, you know, you can put an age on our team and say, yeah, we're the oldest team. There's a couple guys that we have or had that just drive that average up a little bit. But we're very happy with, you know, the way that Broberg came along in the playoffs and showed us sort of like the big strides he's made, and Dylan Holloway and you know, Ryan McLeod and some of these other younger guys. Connor and Leon are in their prime. We're in you know, we're in win now mode still, and that's not going to change. We feel that we're that close. It's clearly evident that we're that close, just where we were, and it's a tough league. You get into the playoffs and things have to line up really, you know, really well and really perfectly to get where you get to. And I loved our team this year. So the age part of it, yes, we want to, like, you know, continue to integrate younger guys in the lineup, and we'll look for ways to try to do that. But I'm not concerned at this point where we are that, you know, oh, so and so is, you know, he's 32 or he's 34. If he's still contributing and playing an important role and playing a leadership role, and fits within the, you know, sort of the paradigm of our team, like I'm okay with that.
And on two specific players, do you plan to buy out Jack Campbell? And where are we on, where are you on negotiations with the Draisaitl camp?
I'm at this point, I'm not going to comment on Jack. We're looking at, you know, every option we can, on various things, you know, including Jack, but we're at this point, we're not planning that. We're considering it. And I would say with respect to Leon, we haven't started, you know, negotiations with him. I'm sure that during this week here in the draft, I will see Mike Liut, who's his agent. We'll have a discussion. I think it's critically important that the general manager is in place before we get into the meat of that discussion, because I'm sure for Leon and his representatives, they're going to want to know what the, you know, what the vision is who the GM is, all of those sorts of things. It's a big move, and it's a, you know, it's a commitment from Leon. I think that obviously he knows me, and the way that I operate, and I think that we'll have a, you know, a very good general manager in place, but I'm assuming they're going to want to wait and know who that is before we really get into it.
Here we're getting into the final few questions here. We'll go to Brianna Carson-Smith, followed by Ryan Rashawn.
Hey, Jeff, just getting back to Ken, can you talk about a move that you think he made during his tenure that stands out, or a signing or something like that that really stands out for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple that are, you know, have immensely contributed to the success. Obviously, the Zach Hyman free agent signing was a brilliant one. Not only, you know, has Zach continued to improve and as a goal scorer, but he brings so much leadership to the team. And for, you know, anybody who covers the team on this call, you know, the quality of the person that he is. So that's one. And then obviously the Matthias Ekholm trade with Nashville at the deadline a year ago is sort of a, you know, it can be another thing that's looked at as it changed sort of the trajectory of a lot of things. Eki brings so much to the leadership, compete, mentoring. You know, it allowed us or the team last year and then this year to sort of elevate Bush. He responded. They're a great pair. But those two things, you see what's on the ice, but those two guys in particular off the ice, adding to Leon, to Connor, to Nuge, to Nursey, like we have an amazing leadership group, and it's not just 2 or 3 guys anymore. It's like a big group. So those 2 moves by Ken were, I would say, were excellent moves.
And then I know you were saying that this wasn't a surprise, it was sort of ongoing throughout the season, but was there any attempt to try to do an extension, or was that something you guys were looking at any point?
No, we never got into that. Yeah, like I said earlier, we sort of just agreed right from when I got hired that we would, Kenny had 1 year left. We would work together closely. We had a great relationship. We were very collaborative. We spent a ton of time together. All the moves we made were things that were discussed with each other. I think it was just sort of understood that that's what he wanted, and that I was, he made the comment to me, you probably want to have your own guy, and it's probably time. And but that didn't change the way we operated this year. It was like full on. Kenny was so engaged. There was no time where he wasn't, doing what he's done for the past 30 years as a general manager in the league. And I think the proof was in the pudding that, right to the till the very end. He did a great job.
Okay, we'll wrap things up with Ryan Shaw.
Hey, Jeff. I mean, I think it's obvious that, the best chance to win a Stanley Cup's with Leon Draisaitl on the team this upcoming year. But how comfortable are you if there is not an extension in place for whatever reason of walking Leon into the last year of his contract and, risking at the end of the year that he goes somewhere else and the organization doesn't get assets in return for him? That's kind of the risk of the whole thing. Where's your head at on taking that risk if the deal isn't in place?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious Leon Draisaitl is a top 5 player in this league, and he's been here for a long time, 10 years. Him and Connor have played together at Nuge for a long time, and he's had a lot of success personally as a player, and our team has had success, especially this year. But to answer your question, I've alluded this a few times. I don't feel the pressure of any date to do this. Like, he's got another year on his contract. He likes playing in Edmonton. He likes his team. He likes the coaches. We need to sit down and talk about, not only money, but philosophically about where the team's going to go, what we're trying to do. I mentioned earlier, he needs to know who the new GM is before we really do that, because he's not going to commit long term and not know who, the guy that's going to be with him day to day and on the planes and in the hotels on the road and all that sort of stuff, and who's managing the team day to day. So I feel confident that we'll sit down as soon as we can. Obviously, it's of critical importance for us, and we've got if we don't have something done by July 15th, we'll keep working on it. We got a year to work on it. We want to keep this group together, and it's a priority to do that with Leon. But I don't feel like a date here in the next 2-3 days or July 1st or anything like that where we have to do something or we're in putting ourselves in peril. I just don't feel like that.
And just to follow up, Jeff, there's a sentiment that Leon and Connor would be, they're inextricably linked here in some ways. But is there any practical way for these decisions to be linked at all? Or are these basically made in a vacuum, right? Leon's going to make his decision and Connor makes his decision. Like it's not like there's some connection that's practical right now.
Yeah, I mean, their deals don't line up, obviously, either. Like, Connor's got 2 more years. Look, these guys they're very close friends. They're confidants of each other. They share lots. I know that because I was with Connor for years as his agent, and know the deep relationship that Leon and Connor have. So I think there's probably going to be a point where we sit down with both of them and chat. I mean, Connor's not going to be involved in a negotiation involving Leon, but philosophically, when we get our new general manager, I'm sure we're going to meet and talk about things and not do it in a vacuum. I think it's important that we have the collaboration of our top 2 players, and they know what the vision is and what our new GM is thinking, and so I sort of anticipated at some point. I'm not sure when that is because he's got a wedding coming up in a month, and there's lots of planning, and I'm sure he's going to decompress here for a little bit, and same with Leon, and then I've got all the stuff that I need to take care of. culminating with, hiring a new general manager. So, I don't know if that answers your question or not, Ryan, but, they're linked, but they're also separate.